For 5 years, I was really depressed. I didn't know if I was going to become paralyzed or in a wheelchair. It just got so bad that I just wanted to give up. It started about 5 years ago when we were in Las Vegas. I started walking up towards the strip and my feet started getting numb. And the numbness kept growing, going up to my waist, so I would sit down and the numbness went away. Well, I walked a few more feet and it came back.
And he just stopped dead in his tracks. He just said, I'm totally numb.
When we got back home, I went to go see a neurosurgeon, and I had shots in my back. I went through physical therapy, I went through chiropractor, I went through acupuncture, and it all worked a little bit, but it would always come back. The numbness would come back. The pain was always there. The pain never went away. The numbness would come on so quick, I didn't know if my feet were going to be steady enough, because when you're numb, you can't feel your feet when they touch the floor. And it got so bad at one time that I couldn't walk from my front door to my mailbox. I would have to stop halfway down the driveway and sit down in the driveway and let the numbness go away.
Our fear basically was eventually it's going to go numb and it's going to stay numb. The surgeon had told him that he was just going to have to grin and bear it until he couldn't stand it any longer. Then they would do the bolts and screws. Well, we weren't ready for that. And I asked him one time, I said, can't you go in there and rotor-root something out? And he's like, no, we don't do that. So we just took his word that the next step would have to be the bolts and screws. We both are retired. Bud's retired from the Navy, and basically Bud and I could live on a cruise boat. We love to cruise. We love to see the world, but we hardly ever got off the boat.
We would get out on the pier and then we'd have to turn around and go back to the boat because the numbness would get so bad.
We would step off the boat and say, you know, we're in this country. Then we'd get right back home. That's no fun. And I thought maybe we'll try the shots one more time to go on this cruise. That's when we went to our primary care doctor, Dr. Qin.
It is an honor to walk with my patients through their journey to recovery, to healing. When I first met the goose trees, and we cried together, and I knew at the time that I just needed to get them help. So I referred him to Dr. Shakir, who I've heard wonderful things about.
Mr. and Mrs. Goostree came to my office. Mr. Goostree was a gentleman in pain. Simply put, he had been through the ringer of conservative therapies, and he didn't want a big surgery. He wanted to avoid, if he could, any kind of surgical intervention. And so when he came in and I looked at his MRI, I thought I was being punked initially. I was like, this is pretty, it was textbook for me at the time. And I was like, he's seen other people. Maybe I'm missing something. And then I met him and we talked about his history. I examined him. I distinctly remember asking him one of my favorite questions I ask patients, which is, how do you walk when you go to the grocery store?
And I said, well, I have found when I lay on the grocery cart and move my back down to laying flat almost on the grocery cart, all the pain goes away and all the numbness goes away.
And that is one of the classic signs of lumbar spinal stenosis and neurogenic claudication, because people find relief when they walk hunched over because it kind of gives their nerves some breathing room. We call that the positive shopping cart sign, and he was like textbook. I went back to the MRI, I went back to him, and I said, okay, I think I can fix you. What you need is just a simple incision, a simple shaving off of the bone, and I can make you better, I think.
He sat there and explained it in very full detail. And he goes, there won't be any boats, there won't be any plates, there won't be any screws. He goes, and I'll guarantee you,
you're going to enjoy your cruise.
You're going to enjoy your cruise. You know, I went, okay, well, if you think so.
I wasn't so sure because you're dealing with all those nerves in your back. Of course, to a surgeon, they've done it a lot. But to me, he's the only man I got. I just gave it to God. Basically, I just prayed about it. Dr. Shakir came out of the operating room with his arms wide open to give me a hug and said it went great. The next morning when he woke up, he said, let's get up, let's see if this works. And I said, are you sure you're ready for this? So we start down the corridor and I'm looking at him and he goes, it's okay, I'm okay. And we walk a little more and I'd look at him and he goes, still, I'm in no pain. I go, oh my God, this is a miracle.
Typically, you see a patient still in bed kind of early in the morning. He felt so good, he was showing off. He got out of bed and kind of did a spin move.
I twirled around a couple times, showed him a little jig, and he goes, well, that's good, but don't be flashing. Oh, I forgot. The robe's got an opening in the back, and I completely forgot.
I was like, take it easy. You just had surgery. We're not even 24 hours out. Let's slow play this.
It was a miracle. No pain, no numbness, nothing. And it's a God blessing from God.
It is. We can't even put in one word, 100 words, what this life-changing event has done for us. It's just over and beyond amazing.
I don't have to sit on the couch anymore. I can walk. There's no numbness, no tingling, no
and
pain.
You even vacuum.
And the last 2 cruises we've been on, we were going down cobble streets and walking through the rainforest and not one problem. It was the greatest time I think I've ever had.
So I remember I was sitting in my office and my nurse came in and told me that the goose trees look completely different. And Bud was dancing in the clinic and I was just overjoyed and I ran and we just laughed and we cried together, but that was tears of joy.
Dr. Qin is...
she's like a daughter.
She's like a daughter.
We've been through a lot of doctors. And I think we found a gold mine when we found Dr. Qin and Dr. Shakir.
Mr. and Mrs. Goostree visit quite frequently. Mrs. Goostree knows that I have a soft spot for sweets, and she's a baker. She's a great baker. They're part of my family, if you will, at this point.
Dr. Shakir to me, he's a very talented doctor. He's very knowledgeable. He listens. He's given me so much back that I had lost for 5 years. He saved me.
Love that man dearly. Thank you for giving my husband's life back. I couldn't ask for anything better.